What's going on, people? It's your boy, Mr. Controversy, representing the three-point conversion presents Making the Cut. This is my NFL diary. Let's get it started, people. It's week 16, but of course, I always talk about the week prior too, so we have to talk about week 15. And I call this week, it was I don't want it, dismal, embarrassing, do you want it? Week 15, it was crazy. So usually I start with counterfeit teams, and I don't really want to say counterfeit because you in the thick of things. So counterfeit teams are outside the playoffs right now, looking at TV like we are. So I would like to say this is my I don't want it segment, and talk about two teams. First team, have to talk about the Atlanta Falcons. Just because, yeah, you played against Pittsburgh Steelers. Good team, man. Le'Veon Bell coming in hot. We can almost say arguably the best wide receiver in the game with Antonio Brown right now. You had a hard challenge, but at the same time, you were at home. And yeah, Julio was out. You didn't have Julio. But still. And I guess I should direct this more towards the Atlanta Falcon fans. And the reason why I say this is because, everybody watching on TV who watched the game, they heard it. And I stay in Atlanta. So I always hear Atlanta Falcon fans talking about how our team is sorry. I don't want to represent a bunch of horrible players. They this and they that. Then when they win, they jump on a bandwagon. But when they lose, they jump off. Bandwagon fans. Yeah, I'm calling you out, Atlanta Falcon fans. I am. So, but this was the time where the team needed you the most. And, true enough, Atlanta Falcon, for the most part, they suck, for the most part. But I think they can get better, and they could have maybe won a playoff game because they would get it at home. But anyway, so the Falcons they hosted the Steelers in Atlanta, Georgia. So we're at the Georgia Dome, and it was 60-40. That was the percentage of fans. 60% Falcon fans, 40% Steelers fans in Atlanta, Georgia. When you're trying to win the division. Okay, so let's look at it like this. People say, okay, but they still had advantage. No, you don't understand. The Georgia Dome holds, I think, maybe 80,000 people. I think it's 80,000. So that means, and my math might not be off, but just guesstimating. So that means about maybe 30,000. It had to be at least or close to 30,000 or even above 30,000 fans that were there were Steelers fans. That's a huge difference. That's a big difference. So that means if the Falcons are losing and the Steelers fans are cheering, that's a crazy difference. But again, Falcon fans, you say this is your team and you don't show up, which means the only way the Steelers fans had to show up was the fact that you sold your tickets. Yeah, you say, okay, I want to watch TV at home, but still, you sold your tickets. As my partner, Mr. Jamie Duke, said, the fact that the same people that say, okay, well, maybe they want to stay home because they want to save their money for Christmas, the Steelers fans, they celebrate Christmas too. But yet still, your Falcons mess around and lose. Matt Ryan threw a pick. That probably was a major difference in the game. But still, Atlanta Falcon fans, you suck. So Atlanta Falcons get mine, and I guess it should go to the fans. I don't want it. The next team that I don't want it goes to the Green Bay Packers. The funny thing is, I always hated the Green Bay Packers, honestly. But this is not about my feelings towards the Green Bay Packers. This is about the truth. And Green Bay, you were probably the best team. Well, you were the best team heading into this Week 15. No one could beat you at Lambeau. You were blowing out everybody. You made New England Patriots seem just a regular. They look like a regular team against you all. You blew out Philly. Who else you blew? You blew out team after team after team just in the first half. So you had the chance to control your own destiny by being a number one seed in the NFC, and you go to Buffalo, which is not a walkover or pushover, but you go to Buffalo and you stunk up the field. Horrible. I think you scored 13 points? 13? Really? So that means you only scored one touchdown? Have to call out a few people. Jordy Nelson, how much money did you receive from either, well, I'm not going to name them, but because I don't want nobody coming after me, but did you receive money from at least Buffalo or what? You dropped at least 3 passes, and 2 of those 3 passes were short touchdowns. And, I mean, right here, hit your hand. I mean, palm of your hand. You dropped it. You didn't look away. You just dropped it. Come on, what? Rodgers threw 2 picks. 2 of his picks were tipped. And I think they came off of Green Bay Packers receivers. You big dummy. So what happens now? Now you fall to 10-4. Detroit takes over the league in that the North Division. You're still, and they play you at home the last game of the season, which you have a chance to beat them and still win the division. But you lost the chance of being a number one seed in the NFC. Why? Because you know Seattle, they're not losing anymore. God forbid, unless something happen like some crazy freak injury, they're not losing. So now, no matter what, whether you get in as a 6th seed or win the division, you have to travel to Seattle. But the funny thing is, you might not get in. Because if somehow, which it can happen, because Philly plays Washington and the Giants, if somehow Philly win both games and Dallas loses to Indy next week because DeMarco Murray might not play, hopefully he gets healthy, but he might not play, then that means you fall out because Dallas would get the tiebreaker because they have a better NFC record. So, you didn't want it. All right. Got to talk about one more thing, and it's going to be short today. But this message goes out to the Cleveland Browns. That's why you all suck. And the reason why I say that is because, come on, you quit. You quit. Management, coaches, you quit on your team. Why? You were still in the playoff race. The guy you benched played his best game against the team that you faced on Sunday, and you took him out for Johnny Manziel. You're still in the playoff race. What do you think a rookie is going to do in his first game starting while you in the thick of things in the playoff race against a divisional rival? Mike Pettis should be fired, but more than likely, it probably wasn't even his decision. Probably was the general manager or the owner. So I'm calling all y'all out. That was dumb. That was dumb. You know what that's like? I know most of everybody watching is football fans, but any of you baseball fans, you should know this. And if you're not, pay attention. That's like you're in a playoff, you're playing for the playoff game, you're one game out. And you have a chance to tie it up and maybe get into the wild card, and you bring in a pitcher from the minor league who hasn't started, and you have him start that game. The heck? So, if I was Hoyer, I'd be ready to leave, which, I mean, more than likely, this shows that you're gone, but I'd have walked on the team right then and there. You put this rookie in who looked horrible, and I don't blame Johnny Manziel because Johnny Football, you're a rookie. This is your first game starting. And you're playing against a divisional rival, which is a big game. It wasn't like it was week 10 and you all were out the playoffs. It didn't mean anything to you. All right, we just want to see what he does. No, it wasn't that. You were playing. This was a divisional game. And who can control the AFC Central or AFC North? I keep going back to the old school days. So AFC North. And you beat Cincinnati in Cincinnati on national TV, where Hoyer outplayed Mr. Andy Dalton, made Cincinnati look horrible. and you benched him because of Johnny Football. So to me, what sign are you showing, are you giving to your fans or your team? That you're worried about money? You can't say, well, we want to see what Johnny was going to give us. You had next year for that. Or you had the end of the year for that if you didn't make the playoffs. Man, like I said, I know it's a lot of us say that we should be coaching, whatever, but I felt like I could have been a general manager and made that decision. If Mike Pettit would have came to me, I think that's his name, Pettit came to me and said, okay, we're going to bench Hoyer, he would have got a letter, or he would have got sent to my office quick. Say, okay, if you do this, you're getting fired because this is dumb. Anyway, so that's my NFL diary, folks. Stay tuned. And next week, I'm loving this because, I mean, for the first time in a long time, besides the Falcons, which still is a heated, I guess, division race. I mean, even though all of them look horrible, but still, I mean, they're all playing for the division, so that's good. But you have a lot of teams coming from each division. They're battling. I mean, we all know in the AFC, Denver's probably it's going to be up to Denver and New England, but still, I mean, New England still has to play Buffalo. They play them at home, but you never know. Denver has to play Cincinnati on Monday night. You never know. Even with the AFC North, you have, like I said, Cincinnati has to play Denver. You know, Cincinnati plays Pittsburgh, I think the last game of the season. It's just a lot of stuff going on. You just don't know. I think the only division that's really wrapped up is the AFC North, AFC East and the AFC South. But for the most part, every race is tight, is what we love as football fans. Hey, I'm loving it. So once again, it's Mr. Controversy from the 3-Point Conversion presents Making the Cut. This is my NFL diary. You can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Controversy 21. Make sure you subscribe to the 3-Point Conversion YouTube page, which you're watching now. Follow us on Twitter at the 3-Point Conversion. Also follow us on Facebook on the 3-Point Conversion sports page. Until next week, I'll see y'all later. Did you miss me?